State PBW President and also a member of our local Raton chapter. With me this evening, I have Colette Armijo. She is our local Raton chapter president. And also our moderator this evening will be Christina Boyce. Would everyone please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our PBW members with us this evening are our question screeners. We have Lynette Simpson, Bernadine Barella, and Colette Armijo will also be assisting screening questions. I will be the timekeeper. We also have question runners who will pick up your questions. I have Camille Gonzalez, Mercy Swanson, Paula Cacciatore, and I failed to mention Camille Gonzalez is a student at Raton High School. I also have students Celeste Rahamat and Don Ray Arwejo. Thank you very much, ladies, for helping us this evening. Raton Professional Businesswomen is a nonpartisan organization dedicated to improving the lives and promoting the advancement of women through personal, political, and professional development while influencing our government, improving our community, and providing a friendly, supportive forum for networking and growth. Raton PBW is honored to present this candidate forum tonight so that citizens can be informed about local issues and get to know each of our candidates this evening before they head to the polls. Tonight's forum will be conducted to be fair to all candidates and to the audience. Before I introduce our City Commission candidates, I would like to thank KRTN for setting up the sound system and for broadcasting the forum live. We also have Marty Mayfield with us this evening, who is doing video. So thank you very much. I would like to turn it over to our local president, Colette Armijo.
Thank you, Michael Ann. If everyone would please join me in taking a minute to remember Freda Baca, who passed away on Friday, the 25th of December, 2015. Freda is fondly remembered by her family, friends, and co-workers. She was also a member of PBW. She was the Colfax County Clerk for the past 3 years. Freda was a member of St. Patrick's St. Joseph's Catholic Church, New Mexico Association of Counties, board member of the Alternatives to Violence, and a very active committee member for American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, which is where I was blessed to meet her for the first time. She was also the secretary of the United Mine Workers of America Auxiliary. She continues to be missed by us all. Eternal rest grant unto her, and let perpetual light shine upon her. May she rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Colette, for those beautiful words in memory of our dear friend, Freda. I would now like to turn the forum over to our moderator, who will now introduce our candidates. Thank you once again for attending.
Thank you, Michael Ann and Colette. And thank you to all of our audience here at the Schuler Theater in downtown Raton, New Mexico, and to our listening audience out there, FM 93 KRTN. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Our City Commission candidates tonight, sitting in alphabetical order from the audience's left to right, are James Kennett Cruz, he goes by Kenny, Stephen J. Draper, Donald Lee Giacomo, Lindy Schuster, and James Neal Sagata Jr. Our candidates will open with their opening speeches, and they drew cards to determine the order in which they will give their opening speeches. They have 2 minutes for that, and we will, when we close the forum, they will go in reverse order. So speaking first, I'll give you the order, and then let our first candidate give his opening speech. So the order that these speeches will go in is James Neal Sagata Jr., then Lindy Schuster, then Stephen J. Draper, then Donald Giacomo, and then J. Kenneth Cruz, or Kenny. So our first opening speech is from current City Commissioner James Neal Sagata Jr.
Thank you, Christina. My name is James Neal Sagata Jr. Most of you know me by Neal. I am a current City Commissioner for District 5. I'm also Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Raton. I've been involved in the Raton politics since 2011, and I can honestly say it's been an experience, and it's been an experience that at times you wonder why you're doing it, but at other times you are glad that you are doing it. And this past 2 years, from 2014 to now, is a time where I am glad and proud to be a commissioner from representing the City of Raton. This commission that we currently have setting has worked very hard to focus what we need for Raton and what's in the best interests of Raton. And I'm proud to be a part of this commission. It's a group that works well together, and I would like to continue to see it work in that direction. Currently, our current city manager, Scott Berry, was a great choice. Some of you may remember I tried to recruit Scott back in 2011, and we had a successful run for about 6 months there, and then Scott had to take care of the engineering aspect of the results of the track fire, and we're so grateful for that. I'm extremely grateful now that he has reconsidered and is now our city manager, because I believe Scott is the man for the job, and especially working with this commission. So I look forward to continuing that. Many things happening. Of course, all know, if you have not heard, we have the DOS Aviation agreement that we are going to approve tomorrow night at the commission meeting. And that is something that is going to bring some new excitement and energy to the community. And we look forward to working with DOS Aviation. Other things going on, this has been going on since I also started back in 2011, is the multimodal project. We're finally have got shovels in the ground on that, and that is going to be another good thing for the First Street area of Raton. Something when people get off the train or the bus, they can now be able to see something that's pleasing and introduces Raton to those visitors. So again, I just thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. Look forward to your questions tonight. And we appreciate your being here supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Lindy Schuster will give her opening speech, and she is a sitting city commissioner.
Hi. Ooh, excuse me. I've been on the commission. I was appointed in September 2014, and it's been a wonderful experience. I've really been proud to be part of this commission. We've worked hard together to make some good things happen for this community. For those of you who don't know, I did not grow up in Raton, but I did grow up on a farm, hard-working farm in Minnesota, so I learned a thing about hard work, and let me tell you, I'm really proud to be part of a group of people who work hard to make this city better. While I've been on the commission, we have done all kinds of things. We've worked on increasing our tourism by helping sponsor the Master of the Mountain, the Gate City Music Festival, and the balloon rally has come back from its taking a break from after the track fire. We've worked with the hospital, to create a better proactive healthcare system. We've worked with, when Highlands pulled out of the educational building, then we have started working with the Northeast New Mexico Educational Foundation to bring back higher education into the area. And that is working well. There will be classes starting soon, so I think that's a really positive thing for Raton. We've also worked on the Tiger Grant to get Amtrak, keep Amtrak running well. We've worked on a community kitchen, which has kind of been my champion project. Getting an entrepreneurial setting, a certified kitchen, so that people who make products that they can sell have a place to go make them, and a process to get a label so that they can sell the products and make a profit at it. We had a guest speaker at our last board meeting who's making a salsa out of a kitchen in Albuquerque, but she lives in Cimarron, and she came over to talk to us and told us how much money she's making at just selling her salsa. So we have some energized people who have got some really good products that they'll be bringing out, I hope. We hope to have it up and running sometime this summer. We're also working on cleaning up the community. When you look around, there's a lot of closed up buildings, and it can look kind of dusty, and especially this time of year. But we're working hard with the urban reforestation group and other things to clean up the properties. We're also working with the police department, the fire department, to create better situations.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Ms. Schuster is looking to hold her commission position in District 4. Next up, with opening speeches, we will turn it over to write-in candidate Stephen J. Draper. He is running in District 5 for the seat of City Commission.
Hello, good evening, and my name is Steve Draper, and I'm interested in District 5, holding position to serve the city of Raton. I would like to do a lot of things to redevelop Raton in a historical, rewrite I-25 that runs through 2nd Street, make that, turn that into an industrial park, and make the downtown 1st and 2nd Street historical, so we can have a tourist, so we can change our revenue, gross receipt taxes for lodging, and get people working. Get the town functioning instead of seeing boarded up press board on windows, and we should have them colored with some kind of a paint so it looks a lot more presentable when people drive through our town. I-25 should have been overturned 10 years ago when we don't have a train, we don't have power, we don't have federal grants done properly for the power company and the water company, misuse of federal grants, state, it's highway usage tax. A lot of people got to educate themselves so they can understand what's going on in City Hall. I have an interest in reopening the coal mine, making steel. We can get all the federal grants. We can make it happen. We've got to challenge it. There's a lot there, and we can redo our power plant, and we can redo our schools, and we'll be exempt of any cost with the educational and the arts. If we do this thing right, by reopening the mine, and we can make a national park above the mine, and we can put it for the veterans. We can sign a lease up there. We get the ranchers to do the right thing, work with us. We've got to get away from the control of Raton. We need new people coming in here to have an interest, to want to do the right thing instead of controlling, making a private little family. We have to change our attitude, our outlook, and be willing to not be too proud with our bad way of thinking. The Horse track it's a past thing. It wasn't a good plan. And I'm not against horses. I raised horses. I grew up on the farms. I baled a lot of hay, took care of a lot of animals. And that was up in Michigan. So worked long days, and I worked in the coal mines here. I worked all over the state of New Mexico, developed a lot of things in Santa Fe. I was superintendent for development of a lot of projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. And running unopposed in District 2 for City Commission, Donald Lee Giacomo will be our fourth speaker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, ladies from the BPW, Raton. Thank you for having this forum first tonight. Question goes back to you. I'm currently the city commissioner for the last 2 years being in. Question come up to me, why did you get into it? And if you think back a few years during the meetings, they used to say, if you don't like what's being said here, the way things are handled, put your name in and run for the office. Well, I did, and got elected. What have we done for Raton? Basically, I feel I was very instrumental in hiring the best city manager that's been around Raton in a number of years, and that's Mr. Scott Berry. He in turn hired a solid waste manager, Mr. Phillips, and the treasurer, Michael Antonucci. Both of these two people have shown expertise in grant writing, and Ms. Antonucci pursued and found the discrepancy by the state that we were not getting funds for, the correct funds for, and it amounted to a great deal of money. As far as Raton goes, there's been a few new breakthroughs on development. Mr. Scott Berry and Mr. Ron Chavez, the commissioners, were instrumental in the DOS project, and it looks like that's, it is going to become reality. What have I accomplished? I'm the one who answers to the potholes in the streets. A lot of complaints come our way, and we try to take care of the complaints as we get them. Mostly it has to do with the streets. Also, the projects that have occurred are the repaving of First Street, probably about 90% resurfaced, repaved, and then on the west side, Raton, down on the avenues, there was 7 or 8 avenues that resurfaced. Tiger Drive was halfway repaved, which is supposed to be completed this summer when school gets out. The remaining half will be repaved. And that's about it for the way things go. We have a lot of new dumpsters in town. We got Mr. Phillips accomplished a grant with the Game and Fish Department, where we're going to be getting about 600 or 700 new bear-proof dumpsters. And
thank you, Mr. Giacomo. And giving our 5th opening speech for the evening here at this Raton City Commission Candidate Forum will be James Kennett Cruz. He goes by Kenny, and he is running against Lindy Schuster for District 4 position.
Howdy, I guess I'm the new boy in the block, but I was born and raised in Raton. I left Raton, worked for the government, came back, and I got involved with Raton about 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, when you guys had that track fire. I was out in the East Coast wondering what's happening in Raton. So I started a site. It was called Not in Raton, in Raton. And right now I have over 4,000 members there. And most of those members do not live here no more. They left and they want to come back, but there's nothing to come back to, they say. No. So I go all around Raton taking pictures and trying to show the people that there's still life in Raton. I go to all these events they have in Raton. I take pictures and show everybody what's going on. And I want to be the commissioner, to run so I could become involved with Raton, because this is my town. I love Raton. I don't know anybody else in this town to say they love Raton. Raton is my hometown. I love it so much that sometimes I walk around, I see all these things, like you said, things are boarded up and all that, and I cry, and I say, what's the matter with this town? I know we cannot come back to what it was, and I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Okay, and that will conclude our opening statements from our candidates for Raton City Commission. The election will be next Tuesday. And so we hope that you listening out there and you here in the audience will be sure and mobilize all of your friends and neighbors to get out and vote tonight. And we're thanking you for being here tonight. I'm going to open up with a question that I'll ask each of the candidates to answer, and we'll go in the alphabetical order from Mr. Cruz down through Mr. Sagada. And this question comes in for any and or all. What are the top 2 priorities for the City of Raton in the next 2 years?
I guess I would like to make this a retirement home and do a lot of stuff for the young kids. They graduate here and they have to leave because there's no good jobs here. And I'm going to try to bring things in here. Like I said, I'm involved with NIR and all that stuff, and I just want to bring the people back to Raton and retire, because a lot of people say, well, there's no doctors here. So I'm giving 100%, and there's an office at the City Hall, this commission office. I don't think none of these commissioners have ever used it. And I want to use it, and you guys are welcome to come and talk to me anytime you guys want. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Draper?
Okay. My name is Steve Draper, and I would like to see a pantry for the people that are traveling through our town and they end up broke. They don't have no place to stay. We don't have a care facility for them, so we can put them up for a night and not just ignore them. This has always been a problem here. We've got that old hotel on going towards Sugar Eat Canyon. We could do something with that. We have to raise some money to do it, but we need to invest in that. That's part about being a town. Joy Junction, we might be able to get with them and get them involved. They're very successful with these kind of things. And I would also like to focus on the historical and put the 1800, 1900 look for downtown, 1st and 2nd Street, and get the downtown functioning in that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Giacomo.
Yes, priorities, as far as I'm concerned, is the landfill that we have going. We need to make sure that's taken care of and sealed up over. And also, like I mentioned, repaving jobs over the streets. We've got to get the streets in better shape than what we have them now. That's a priority. And also the multimodal center, get that completed. It's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks under construction now, and hopefully the moisture, the weather won't hold us up from any problems there. But those are a couple of priorities. Also, again, the DOS aviation. Hopefully, see that thing expand more than what we would like to see the start of it. It's going to be slow, but hopefully it'll pick up and take effect. And that's about it.
Ms. Schuster, what are your top 2 priorities for the city?
Well, I think these are things that we've already started working on, which is why I want to continue as a commissioner to maintain the projects that we've got started. The top 2 are probably hoping that we can welcome the people from DOS Aviation. I really feel that that's going to be an extremely positive thing for this community. Of course, the kitchen is going to be a really positive thing for the community, providing entrepreneurial or other job opportunities for people. And I'm sorry, I can't help but throw in the educational foundation. I think we're really working hard on that, and I think it's something we want to maintain and help support and make it happen. It's easy to complain about what we don't have, but we have some good things that are starting up, and I want to maintain those things and get them going.
Thank you. Mr. Sagata.
Thank you. I guess two of the top things that I would, that we really need to start paying attention to and focusing on. One is our waste treatment facility, the sewer plant. There are new regulations coming out regarding the discharge of water, and currently we cannot meet those specs. Don't get alarmed, nobody in the state can meet those specs, but that's going to be a multi-million-dollar project and something that Mr. Campbell, our current water manager, is working on along with Mr. Berry, but that is something that's going to take a lot of effort on our part, so that is something that's crucial to us. I also think coming down the road is the RPS acquisition of being able to generate some power here with a new 4.3 megawatt generating station. We ought to be seeing that come into fold here shortly. So those are two of the things that I think that we need to focus on and that are very important to Raton, and as well as continue to clean up the rundown properties and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata, and thank you, candidates. Thank you for listening to 93.9 FM Enchanted Air Radio. You are listening to the Raton City Commission Candidate Forum, and we'd like to remind our audience here at the Schuler Theater that when you do have a question ready, if you'll raise your hand, our question runners will come pick up your questions and take them to the screeners. So for our next question, let's go in the opposite direction and start with Mr. Sagata. Keep things simple here since you have the mic. The question is, what are your plans to engage the interest of all in the community? The questioner would like to get back a sense of Raton pride and each and everyone working together to better our community. So how would you engage the whole community?
I think first and foremost, it starts with the commission. When you have a commission that's sitting together, working together, and focused on the same thing, it makes it a lot easier. The second, to get the community involved, is come to the meetings. And don't come to the meetings just when you have a problem. Come to the meetings when you want to be involved. We have several boards on the city right now that are unfilled, board positions. That's a way to get focused and get involved in the community. We've got various other organizations in town that are helping to direct us and get us focused in economic development. Grow Raton is a great organization. So become involved, come to the meetings, and come with ideas, fresh ideas. That's one thing I've noticed with this current commission. We sit, we listen, and we're encouraged by your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. Ms. Schuster.
Could you restate the question?
I would love to. What are your plans to engage the interest of all of the citizens in the community to get back a sense of pride here in Raton and to get each and everyone working together?
Well, I think we have some good systems in place. We have new interest in economic development. We have Grow Raton, Main Street, and the Chamber is working hard. Those three groups are working really hard to get new things started and new interest in keeping our community together. We are in this together, and that's the thing we have to remember. I am working really hard at getting better at social media myself, but one thing that, like Mr. Sagata said, we do have a commission right now that works well together. We all care about the community. We're sitting there with a spirit of respect and cooperation. There's no backbiting going on, and we are ready to work for you, and we'll just keep supporting you, and we hope that you can support us back.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Giacomo.
Yes. main thing here is to get involved, like the other two commissioners have stated. We have great people working together on the committee, on the commission right now, and there's always room for more on the other committees that we have going through town, such as Grow Raton and Main Street. They're always looking for additional people to help out. Don't be a complainer, but get in there and pitch in and do your share. You know, if it's not picking up trash or helping keep the city clean, it's helping your neighbor. Okay.
Mr. Draper?
Thank you. I would like to see the town try to invest in a billboard that lights up, so it's kind of in your face down at the shopping center where you get your groceries, so we can let people know what we're doing. You know, a lot of people don't look on the internet. You know, we've got to advertise what we're doing, put some messages like a billboard, make sure it's lit up. And over 10 years ago, I got involved with Evergreen, and I brought the operating engineers company I used to work for. I traveled quite a bit, worked for them, and challenging all the stuff that I know about how the unions work and, you know, with federal grants. Well, there was a federal law stating that you will pay a certain amount of money to everybody that's working drilling, and the thing is everybody was making $8 and something an hour, and I challenged it when it was Evergreen, and they had to give everybody a raise, and that was some of the reasons why some people bought homes and bought cars from Phil Long Ford and Cooks. So my knowledge with my background, I used it, and I didn't benefit, not even a cup of coffee for myself. And people went from $30,000 to $70,000 a year just by me getting involved, and it helped Raton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Cruz?
My main concern is Raton. I don't belong to no clubs, organizations, and all that. I'm focusing on Raton by itself. Yes, I enjoy other people coming and helping us and giving us ideas, but my focus is you people from Raton, nothing else. No Lions, no whatever clubs they have here. I don't want to be involved with nobody. Just Raton, New Mexico, because you guys are my people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. I'm going to go ahead and give the next question to you. The questioner directs it to you and says, if elected, what changes would you bring to the City of Raton government, if any, and how would you bring those changes about?
Well, I guess I would, first of all, the commissioner doesn't do what he's supposed to. He listens to the mayor. The mayor, I guess the city manager talks to the mayor talks to, gives assignments to the commissioners, and that's what I go off of. I can't just do what I want to do. If I could, I would be running for mayor. Thank you.
Okay. And I would like to ask a question here for Ms. Schuster, Mr. Sagata, and Mr. Giacomo. You all are current city commissioners. What about being a city commissioner do you wish you had known before you started? And let's give the mic to Mr. Giacomo first.
Time involved. I think a lot of people think that you just go to one meeting a month, which isn't really the way it turns out. There's a lot of extra hours you have to put in, and mainly if it's not answering the phone for complaints, it's different committees that you might be on. I think each one of us might have 2 to 3 extra committees that we sit in. Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Schuster?
Well, that's a good one. Time you put in, it is a lot more time than you think it's going to be. But I guess I didn't really realize how slow the cogs of government work, and even in the small town level, how slow things can work. But because we all get impatient and we want things done immediately, and you just can't make things jump. But it's nice to see. I mean, I've only been in for a year and a half, and I've seen a lot of good things happen. The other thing is I didn't realize how many people really don't pay attention. Their focus is on complaining instead of paying attention to the good things that are happening. And I think when people do, they see a lot of good happening in this community. One thing I started was the You Rock Award so that we could start recognizing citizens who are doing really good things for the community, and I hope we can keep that going.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Sagata.
Yeah, I would just echo what Commissioner Giacomo, Commissioner Schuster said. The time involved it's amazing how much time is involved in being a city commissioner. Like Mr. Giacomo said, every one of us is on about 3 other committees, and you try to make as many of those meetings as you can. That's what is tough. And then again, as Commissioner Schuster said, the slowness of once you voted on something and you think you're ready to move ahead, the slowness of getting that project going. As I stated, multimodal is finally got a shovel in the ground. That was initially approved in 2011. We awarded the contract to get that construction going, and here it is 2016, and we just now got the shovel in the ground. So those are the 2 things I think.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. And this question will start with you, as you are a sitting city commissioner. And again, you are listening to the Raton City Commission Candidates Forum here at the Schuler Theater in Raton, New Mexico. Thank you out there in radio listening land, those of you listening to our 93.9 FM Enchanted Air Radio. Questioner from our audience here in the Schuler asks, what are you doing about the high crime rate and drug problem, grant money, and the rest of the roads in town?
Okay, about the high crime rate and that in town. Back in, I believe it was December, we started the neighborhood watch groups have gotten together, and we have, I believe there are now 2 actually in place. We have had a couple of meetings with Chief Garcia and the sheriff, and the participation has been very good at the 2 meetings that I've attended, and the input has not always been a negative input, but it's people actually making suggestions and showing a way that we can all work together and help reduce what's going on in our community. So just continue to work with the police department, the sheriff's department, the state police, and getting these groups going.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. And Ms. Schuster.
Excuse me. I've had several sit-down chats with Chief Garcia, and he is really working hard to make things happen in a positive manner. One thing he has implemented is the lapel, or the cameras, body cams for the police department. That's helped the Crime Stoppers organization. I had one woman said, well, what does that do to stop drugs? Well, you're right, that person was right. It does not stop an individual from taking drugs, but it does help a community keep drugs out of their neighborhood by paying attention. It makes citizens better aware of Crime Stoppers and neighborhood watches, and we are now ramping those 2 programs up to be fully functional and working well with the communities. So I think those things will be very positive. The other day I got an email from a citizen who showed me some illegal dumping, and he reported that there were people living in inappropriate housing in his neighborhood, and Chief Matthews went right out and investigated on Valentine's Day. So, you know, we've got some hardworking people, and I think as commissioners we're supportive, we're paying attention, and that's important.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Giacomo.
Yes, the police department we all know is understaffed by, I think it's 2 officers, is what they're short of. But if you listen to the radio every morning, you know, I don't think that Raton has picked up or arrested as many drug-involved people in the last 2 years as they have. There's been a lot of people arrested for different situations mainly, but there has been a lot of drug activity that's been a big problem here in Raton. As far as roadways go, I think we showed an effort of that we are concerned about the roads. Started on Tiger Drive, did First Street, and we got other ones planned. Again, we have to work under the budgets that we have. And when we 2 years ago, there wasn't, you know, there was money not there to actually start on all these projects. But slowly we've come up with funds to do it. And like we mentioned earlier, that Mr. Phillips and Mr. Berry have acquired some grants. They work on getting money through the grants for the roads. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. So for our 2 new candidates, Mr. Draper and Mr. Cruz, the questioner asks, what possessed you to run for City Commission? And we'll start with you, Mr. Draper.
Okay, I've been trying to run for office for probably the last 10 years. I've ran 3 different times. I wasn't elected, you know, wasn't voted in, so here I am again for the 4th time. And I've kind of probably have pushed. I'm not kind of a person that shakes everybody's hand and talks to everybody. My career was 25 years as a diesel mechanic, and I had to pay attention to $100,000 piece of equipment to make sure it's running, and budgets, and so I had to take things very serious. And so I'm a kind of a person, get the job done, and let's get after it. I've ran a lot of different programs and maintenance. And the thing is I have an interest to serve Raton still, because I want to build Raton. The heavy trucks, the loaders, all that stuff ruins the roads. It makes potholes. Misuse of federal grants with state, that's not good. We misuse our authority. So we've got to reorganize some of these things and be honest. You know, if you want to serve God, you got to be honest, not read every scripture in the Bible. We have to be honest about our federal grants, our state. We've got to get with the program. It's nice to have everybody friends and a big family, but we've got to get this town moving. I've been here since 1977.
Thank you, Mr. Draper.
Thank you.
Mr. Cruz, what possessed you to run for City Commission?
Again, I just been back from Raton since April. But every time I go down the streets, people come up to me and say, Kenny Cruz, where you been? And I get choked up every time I think of Raton, because I love Raton. Guys, I don't know if you guys really understand. I'm going to put my whole heart into Raton, not this and this. I love Raton. That's how I'm trying to explain to you. Raton is my town. I was born here. I was raised here. I left, but I came back to retire here, and I love Raton.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. So here's a question from our listening audience here at the Schuler Theater. And again, thank you to our listeners out there on 93.9 FM KRTN. A young person asks, how do you think I can tell by the handwriting, how do you think the youth of Raton can help out? And I would like to start this question with Mr. Draper. And then if each of you would answer it going towards Mr. Giacomo.
Well, I have a interest in getting the kids with a co-op, so they're getting educated by people with good education, where they've worked with their talents, the trades, and where the kids are gaining something for their schooling, and there's money. So we need to develop a program, a working program, a co-op, and get the people that don't believe in themselves anymore, that have been on drugs, that gave up. We've got to give them jobs. We start them out at something simple just so they have a place to go. There's a lot of ways. I've had many people work for me, running construction in the mines and stuff, and I've had people, because of racial problems, their attitudes, takes over 72 hours for somebody to clean up on alcohol, and they don't even realize how they're not alert and they're unsafe. So we have to design a program, and it's there. We can, if we work at it. Thank you.
I'd love to have the kids.
And speaking now is Mr. Cruz. Thank you.
I understand that when the kids graduate here high school, they got to go somewhere else because they're lucky to get 2 or 3 different jobs here that are good. So I would like to have more programs to bring in here. Maybe somebody said they were going to have a new tech company, school to come here. Maybe they want to go back to school here. But I wanted to stay here, and I also want the older people to stay here. And I guess look for jobs for them, good, decent jobs. Thank you.
Okay, and from Mr. Draper and Mr. Cruz, we've heard answers giving us good programs for the youth, but the questioner asks, do you think the youth of Raton can help out? So, Mr. Giacomo, specifically, can you think how the youth can help?
Well, I believe that they can help out. Matter of fact, I believe we have a student or so working or in the department helping out in the Grow Raton area. And I really don't remember her name, but I believe there's one working there. But we need to encourage them to get involved, whether it be inviting them down to maybe the city commission meetings, get them interested in that way.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Ms. Schuster.
There are a lot of civic organizations as well as city boards that the students would be welcome on. The Parks and Rec Board is short board members, and it would be very helpful if students, 1 or 2 students, could get on that. There, all the different civic organizations, Rotary Club, PBW, I'm sure, PEO, all the others really do look for student participation. I think if they could, students could come to the city commission meetings, it would be a good lesson. Not sure how much civics is actually taught in schools anymore, but it's important to be involved. I think any student who wanted to get on any board or be part of any civic organization would be welcome. I am personally going to start a storytelling project. I'm hoping to get a couple of students involved in that, where we're getting stories from our elders so that we can pass them on and put them on a podcast.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Sagata.
Thank you. First, thanks to Mr. Jenkins and Grow Raton. They do have a program going on where they are getting the youth involved. What I would also invite the youth is to not only come to the city commission meetings and see what's going on, but also call your commissioner and ask them how you can get involved. Come and see what a day in our life is actually like. I believe I was a little influential in getting Mr. Chavez to run by telling him, call. Nobody calls me. Come ask me. Come talk to me. So that's how we can get our youth involved too, is just come and talk to a commissioner. There may be we could create a shadow program where they could follow Mr. Berry around for a day just to see what's involved in running a city, things like that. Our youth is important, and we need to find ways to keep them here, and in doing that, we need to involve them. Last spring we had the program by Dr. His name, Ivan, yes, Dr. Ivan, where he had several suggestions for getting youth involved, and those are things that we have talked with Mr. Berry about doing, and I look forward to implementing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. So it sounds like you have some new projects to make happen, given in your answers tonight. This questioner asks Mr. Sagata, what is our population in Raton now, And is this DOS project going to hire people for jobs or for their own people?
Okay, I believe our population in Raton is probably around 6,600. I haven't seen the latest numbers. The DOS project currently, I believe they will just be bringing down their own employees at the moment, but there are so many other things that can develop from this in the years to come. As it develops, other opportunities will be there for that, but currently it's going to be their employees coming down and growing from that.
And I'd like to add a follow-up question to that. Will those employees be taking up residence here in Raton?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take a look at this question for any or all of the questions, and I'll let you raise your hand if you're interested. Again, we are listening to our 5 candidates for Raton City Commission. Our election is next Tuesday, and we are here at the Schuler Theater in Raton, New Mexico. We thank you for being here tonight to put these questions forth to our candidates, and also thank you for listening to 93.9 FM. Over the last couple of years, several businesses in Raton have closed their doors. Some residents of Raton felt the City Commission should have done something to help keep them open. With competition from online business and out-of-town stores, do you feel this is something the City Commission should address, and or should they try to help keep a business open? Mr. Draper, if you'll go ahead and start with that. And again, Mr. Draper is a write-in candidate for District 5 City Commissioner.
Myself, I believe, yes, we should support businesses. We need to have a program where there's money available to get them out of their rough spots so they can employ more people. Go to Santa Fe, go to Albuquerque, they're moving. Go to Pueblo, they're moving. Go to Colorado Springs, they're moving. Trinidad's even doing a little better than us, I think. So yes, we need to turn this thing around, but we've got to get some revenue, and that's why we need Beehive Homes here, because it's a private entity business. They don't need federal or state. They're very successful. They're going to bring something to us. It's going to break into that control. That's why the country club area is a very good place to build it. Everybody can go walking. We can get our golf course going. We can put some more money into it. These are things, don't be scared. You know what? People got to get involved for the right reasons. Thank you.
Okay, who else would like to tackle that? Mr. Cruz and then Ms. Schuster. And Mr. Cruz is running for City Commissioner in District 4.
Well, when I came back, Raton wasn't a ghost town, but it looked like a ghost town. We got 3 new businesses that came in this summer, and there's 2 that are not going to be running until this spring. So I think it's the people that have to get involved and go to these restaurants, stores, and all that. I go walking around, people are home at 6 o'clock in the evening, and people have to get out and support the merchants and all this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Ms. Schuster.
Honestly, we can't just give money to businesses from the city, but we can do things like support the LIDA ordinance that we signed a few months back, and work with our economic development groups like Grow Raton, Main Street, and as well as the Chamber of Commerce and other opportunities. That's why we are working on making the kitchen at the convention center ready for entrepreneurs. It's a city project that's supported by the city, but it's also going to be basically run by a group of volunteers, because there are definite ordinances and statutes in the state that we have to follow, but I think this this commission has worked really hard at trying to support businesses.
Ms. Schuster, to clarify for our listeners, can you explain briefly the LIDA ordinance that you said we should support?
Well, we did sign that, and what it is help me out. It's economic development, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's what it is an agreement in the city that it will support its economic development groups and work toward positive economic development. I'm sorry, I don't remember the acronym, but I don't remember the L.
But obviously, economic development and act?
Act, exactly.
Okay. All right. So anyone else like Mr. Sagata, would you like a crack at that one too?
Crack at the first question?
With competition from online businesses and out-of-town stores, do you feel this is something the City Commission should address? Should they try to help keep businesses open?
Well, as Commissioner Schuster stated, the city has their hands tied by financially. First, we can't just give money to businesses, and secondly, we are also governed, as she said, by various acts, one being the anti-donation clause, or act. That prohibits us from even donating buildings or lands or anything or goods to a business. So it's very limited, and that is, as one of our earlier questions, what was one of the frustrating things about being commissioner? That is one of the frustrating things about being commissioners. You can't just open your wallet to our local businesses. As much as we would like to, we're prohibited by various ordinances and statutes.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. And Mr. Sagata is running for District 5 City Commissioner. We have another question for you, Mr. Sagata. Why is the street sweeper not used to clean all of Raton, only in City 2nd Street? We need a new sweeper to clean gutters and curbs and to keep Raton clean.
You're absolutely right. We do need a new sweeper, but again, limited funding and budget constraints do that. What we try to focus on are the main areas of the town where people come and see Raton when they first enter Raton. We try to keep that as clean as we can. We have discussed this, not only been with this commission, but with previous commissions about getting equipment, and just like everything else, the cost of things have skyrocketed. I would be remiss to even give you a guess on the street cleaner cost. I believe the last thing we looked at, even a used one, was over $100,000. So we're doing the best we can. We focus on the areas where we have the most traffic, and we will continue to work to address your needs, and we can work with Mr. Berry and Mr. Phillips to see that we can get those areas taken care of.
Okay, and so 3 in a row, because this one follows right on that question. Is there a plan to resurface 2nd Street as the epoxy gravel has worn off in places?
By the city of Raton, there is not a plan, because as you all know, that is a state highway, so it is governed by the state DOT. So we can't do that ourselves. Now, if they have something in the works, I have not heard of it. But Mr. Berry, I know we did have some of the epoxy come off last year, and we did have that addressed. We can certainly be in contact with DOT and see if they have any plans in the future to address that.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. Okay, this question is for Kenny Cruz. You have stated that you will be available 24/7 for your job as a city commissioner. Explain what the duties of a Raton City Commissioner are with respect to a city commission / city manager form of government.
Well, what I most likely know that all these commissioners have a job. I don't have a job. I'm retired. So you're welcome to come anytime to City Hall. It won't be 24/7 unless you want to call me up, but I'm willing to listen to your problems. And I'm not saying that these people will not listen to your problems, but they're always saying we. They're like a family. I'm against them, and I'm from the only guy that came from Raton, and I love the city. And you guys have to understand that I'll put my whole heart and listen to everybody's problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And for this questioner wants to give a little note to the Raton professional businesswomen. Thank you for this effort to inform the public. And the questioner has a question for Mr. Cruz. As the running mate to Commissioner Schuster for District 4, what is it that you feel you can do better than Ms. Schuster?
I don't know if I could do anything better. She's only been here for 14 months, so she's new in the block too. And I just, like I said, I have time to give. Once in a while, she'll come late to the meetings because she has a job. I understand, I appreciate her job and all that, but I have free time. Maybe she doesn't because she has a job. I do not have a job. I am willing to give my time to Raton.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Okay, we have another question. Okay, so just to show our audience and for our listeners that there are nothing set here, we're going to go ahead and give a third question to Mr. Cruz. You have posted a picture of an office door that had a city commission sign on it and said that you would be available to listen. How much time do you plan to spend in this office, and why would you spend that time there based on the fact that you don't get paid for it?
Because I want to help Raton. Like I said, I don't think some of these commissioners even knew there was an office there until I posted it. And I'm willing to do this, like when it's open, I'll be there. I don't know what time the city hall opens at, and I'll be there during the 5 days a week, 6 days a week. As long as the city hall door is open, I will be there and trying to listen to problems. I cannot solve all your problems, but I'm there to listen to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And this question is for all of the candidates, so let's start with Ms. Schuster. The primary source of funding for the city of Raton is through gross receipts taxes. What can the city commission do to create more gross receipt taxes?
Well, by helping to expand our economic base, that's one of the reasons that Mr. Berry worked so hard on the DOS Aviation project. This will bring in quite a few additional gross receipts over time. Like we've stated, it's going to start off slow. We won't see it immediately, but a year from now, I think we'll be seeing an increase in gross receipts. We'll also be looking at other projects that will stimulate economic growth and development in the area, and doing what we can to support that. When I had the privilege of going along to see the DOS Aviation project, and at their facility in Pueblo, I believe they had over 100 jobs from the community available up there, and I think that we'll be looking at similar type situation here where we'll be growing, they'll be adding in jobs from the community for support staff, different things. Obviously their trainers, the flight trainers are highly skilled, but they will be adding jobs. But we'll be looking at other economic development projects.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Sagata.
To kind of piggyback on what Commissioner Schuster said is economic development, bringing in more businesses, more jobs, more positions creates gross receipt tax. But we also need to maybe change the focus of the community. You know, we've been a mining, ranching, railroad town for our entire existence. Now we need to maybe shift that focus more into a tourist venture or a place to come and have fun. As people travel, they spend money. which creates gross receipts taxes for us and added revenue. So that's where we maybe need to shift our focus now, is away from the way of the past, the railroad and the mining as being the main influx of industry here, and start to look for other avenues. And I believe Mr. Berry and the commission currently are looking at those avenues and trying to go in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. Mr. Giacomo.
Yeah, right now, at present time, the city is dependent on the construction, the new construction that is being done in Raton for gross receipts tax. The multimodal center that's being done is going to generate a few. The south interstate change, as it continues their phases, it'll help the gross receipts build up, as will the McDonald project.
As will what was the third?
The McDonald's restaurant project.
Thank you.
So any other new business or construction that we could bring in, or, you know, it doesn't look like there's anything really planned beyond the McDonald's project, but if for some reason something would happen to come in, you know, that's our resource for the gross receipts taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Mr. Draper, what are your thoughts on how the City Commission can create more gross receipts taxes?
Well, a few years back, I had talked to Mike Jenkins about a stagecoach run for tourists, kind of like the look of Wells Fargo. And we can have downtown activities with just giving a simple ride on a buggy and a horse. If we start putting little bricks and start building the streets instead of asphalt, rewrite the asphalt to I-25, get away from that. It costs too much to maintain it. You're building the roads for anybody that's got heavy trucks and loaders and all that stuff, which we got to get away from all that. We need to build a historical aspect, and my dad was an investor for Exxon Valdez in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and New York City. We can get involved in a percentage in the New York Stock Exchange, on a percentage on a dollar. We can start raising money like that with people's hard work. We can put a fund together that it starts to make sense at the golf course, where maybe 25 cents, 50 cents. We can take that and start building a investment firm of our own. Anytime you have a sludge account, you can turn that into positive money. My dad did it, made a lot of people very rich in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So we can do these things if we put our heads together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Cruz.
I guess most likely we have to depend on tourists. You know what I'm saying? We have that True New Mexico, and they advertise for us, and I think we should get more advertising and let people know that we have fishing here, we have this. And I think our main, like he said, we're not no miners here no more. We're not no railroad people. We need to concentrate on the tourists coming to Raton.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And we have a new question from our audience tonight here at the Schuler Theater in Raton, New Mexico. And let's stay with you, Mr. Cruz, and start and ask each of you to answer this in turn. Again, for our listening audience, 93.9 FM is the station you're listening to. We are broadcasting the Raton City Commission Candidate Forum. And the questioner asks, what makes you the best candidate for the position you are running for? And again, Mr. James Kennett Cruz on the ballot sheet is running for City Commissioner in District 4.
I don't think it makes me the best, but I'm going to put the next 12 years here. Like I said, I'm the newest kid in the block. Give me a chance, and I'll start slowly. Maybe one of these days, like I said, I want to be your mayor also. I'm involved with Raton. I love Raton again. I'll tell you, I love Raton. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Draper is a write-in candidate for City Commissioner in District 5. And what makes you the best person for the position you are running?
Well, I don't know about being the best, but I think a lot of doing a great job for my responsibilities. I work hard. Neil Sagata is a very educated person. He knows what he's doing. He's a good candidate. He's doing a good job at this time. So, you know, it's your decision. If you elect me, I'm going to do what I can to help Raton develop. I have a lot of ideas and I talk a lot. So if you think you have the faith in me, you have to write in and vote for me. So you got to work at it a little bit to get me in office. So it's all up to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Giacomo is running unopposed city commissioner in District 2, and he currently sits as city commissioner. What makes you the best candidate for the position you are running for and currently hold?
Well, basically, I guess because I'm running unopposed. But again, I'll follow suit and say that I don't consider myself one of the best, but I do like to stay active and be involved with what's going on with Raton. I'm a lifelong resident of Raton, and I want to make sure everything is done right for the people of Raton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. And Ms. Schuster is running to keep her seat as city commissioner in District 4. What makes you the best candidate for the position?
Well, I think partly because I've been here for a year and a half, so I've got some experience and some knowledge of the job. But before being on the city commission, I was on the Colfax County Health Council, and I've been on several state legislative committees in the past, so I understand how government works. Yes, I am a part-time, semi-retired speech-language pathologist, but I've worked in every part of this community. I worked in the schools for 4 years, then I worked in the children's workshop, and I was the director there for 12 years, which introduced me to a lot of people and a lot of people on every part of this community. I understand who we are at the heart of things, and I feel that I have a lot to give back to this community.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. And Mr. Sagata is running to keep his seat in District 5. What makes you the best candidate for the position?
Well, first I'd like to thank Mr. Draper for his kind words. I hate that term, what makes you the best candidate, because I don't feel like anybody is wanting to brag on themselves. I think the three of us that are on the commission now are doing this job not because maybe we feel like we're the best, but because, like what Mr. Cruz has been saying all night long, we love this community. We care about this community. I care deeply about this community. That's why I got involved 5 years ago. As far as being the best, I've got the experience. I've forged relationships with our representation in Santa Fe. I have a good working relationship with them through my job as well. And the bonding that we have seen in the last 2 years of this commission, and now with Mr. Berry as city manager, I believe it's a team that can do great things for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. I have a question from the audience here at the Schuler Theater, and I'll address it to all who would like to take it on. Can you explain the plan to bring tourists to Raton? Mr. Draper raised his hand, so let's hear from you, Mr. Draper.
Well, I think it's kind of misleading when you look at the NRA, the pictures in the book, or the Chamber of Commerce, how they beautify Raton, and it's very deceiving. And when you get here, we got boarded up windows, and there's nothing working in this town. So we've got to be honest when we start advertising on the websites. We've got to be honest with our tourists that, you know what, we're going through hard times. We've got a city manager, he's quite a thinker, you know, he's listening, he's working at things, he's turning things around. So we're in a stage where we have a chance to
Would anyone else like to take this question? How do we plan to, what is the plan to bring tourists to Raton?
Well,
Mr. Giacomo, thank you.
Yes, so basically right now we rely on the visitor center and down at interchange down there, just off the interchange. I don't believe there is a written plan other than what they may have in place. I know that there's a lot of visitors stop by there, and I know they are pretty well happy when they leave there because they do have brochures and stuff about Raton. There is talk amongst us, and we haven't got the plan in effect yet, but also billboards along the interstate. We're looking at beefing some of those up into a permanent type signage, and hopefully that'll show tourists that we are trying to improve things.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Ms. Schuster?
We also have some well-organized activities that are happening, and I already mentioned them once, but the Master of the Mountain, if you have not gone out to see that, watch some of that competition. It's exciting. It brings people from Canada and all over the country. We also have an ice fishing competition that happens every year up at the lake. We have the Gate City Music Festival happening. We already have a lineup of really good performers coming this next Labor Day. So I think we have some good things. Our balloon rally is one of the best because it's small, cozy, but yet a lot of fun, and it brings a lot of tourists to town. So helping sponsor events like that, I think, is a good way to bring people in. It brings them back. They like the community. That's about it.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. And Mr. Sagata?
I would think one of the things we need to do is utilize also is the state's program with New Mexico True. They've made a couple of videos now of the Raton area and Sugar Reef Park, and we need to utilize that kind of information and get that out to folks. So that's what I would like to see us start focusing on, is just an overall get out the word campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. A questioner in our audience tonight here at the Schuler Theater asks if any of the candidates have thoughts on using a professional economic developer instead of volunteer economic development organizations. And Ms. Schuster is nodding her head, so Ms. Schuster, you can take that on first.
When we brought in that Dr. Ivan speech, he's a professional economic developer. We're also bringing in a business forum where there'll be professional speakers. We at this point don't have a lot of funding to support a full-time professional economic development team, but we are working hard at getting some professional consultation.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Okay, and if no one else would like to take a crack at that question, then I have a question for Mr. Sagata. The questioner, it's kind of tough, okay? So brace yourself. Why would you want to do away with mining and natural resources? Why would you attack railroads and transportation?
Well, I don't believe I said I would do away with those things. I'm just saying we need to shift the focus of our community. Right now, we don't have any active mines. We do have the gas fields. We're very thankful for those. They do provide employment. We're willing to listen to anybody that wants to come in. But currently, as far as possibly opening another mine, all those mineral rights in that land is privately owned. Unless somebody wants to come in and convince the owner, you know, that make a sell, there's not a whole lot we can do there. I'm certainly not discouraging the use of the activities of mining or natural gas, and that I do encourage that, but we're kind of limited with our availability to get those things going right now. So I'm not opposed to any mining or natural gas at all. I worked at the mine for 23 years. It put food on my table. I'm very thankful for that industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. You are listening on 93.9 FM Enchanted Air Radio to the Raton City Commission Candidate Forum. Our 5 candidates will be on the voting ballot that will be available at the voting booths next Tuesday. We thank our listeners and our audience here at the Schuler for participating in this great aspect of our nation, taking part in the political process. It is questions from people such as yourselves that help us get to know our candidates and help us to make our choice who we should fill in the dot for. So I have a question for all of the candidates, and we'll start with Mr. Cruz. What do you feel are some of the challenges facing Raton in the near future?
I think what's facing us is jobs. Like I said, our kids graduate from school and they leave, and I don't blame them. But we have to bring people, our kids that graduate, and learn more things here. And like I said, once in a while we're lucky to have 2 or 3 good jobs right now in Raton. And I guess that's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Draper, what do you feel are some of the challenges facing Raton in the near future?
Well, one thing I'm concerned with is the educational of libraries. If you go to Springer, they've got an old house there. They need a new library there. Springer belongs to Colfax, so does Maxwell. So does Clayton. So does Angel Fire. So does Cimarron. So we need to look at these things, and I know it's quite a big expense, but we need to get away from water fire suppression in the libraries, because it should be foam, so we can wash the good books. They're worth an awful lot of money. So if we apply for that kind of a grant in educational, I think we can meet our needs there. And what Neil was talking about with the coal mines, there's a book called The Fight Over Nuclear Power. It's worded just like that. It's in the library. Read it. You open it up, it talks nothing about coal. And we've taken all this methane gas out of the coal. It's against the federal law. We're supposed to be mining coal if we're going to do these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Giacomo.
I feel that challenges facing us in Raton now are we need to take care of the landfill, covering up the landfill that we have. Also, Lake Maloya's dam has some projects or some problems that we need to face sooner or later, and also then followed up by jobs. We need to try to get some kind of industry in here, whether it be 20 or 30 man type of manufacturing jobs or some type of industry to help keep our youth here.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Ms. Schuster.
I think one of our number one challenges is inspiring creativity and ingenuity. We have some great resources that can be utilized And I think with some creativity, our citizens could do a great deal and move forward. We have 30,000 cars going by on the freeway every single day. With the right ingenuity and creativity, any individual could bring those cars off the freeway and sustain a business in town. So I think that's one of our main challenges. I mean, we obviously have things like roads and streets that we have to repair. We also have to clean up our town. That's going to be a big challenge because it will put hardship on some of those who don't have funding to clean their buildings up. But it's something that's very needed, so we need to really work hard on that. And we're willing to roll up our sleeves and work together, and we hope the community will too.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Sagata.
Yeah, a lot of things have been touched on already. Economic growth is definitely a challenge, but the regulations regarding wastewater disposal, I know a lot of you don't think of that, but the city of Ruidoso spent in excess of $20 million on a brand new plant that cannot meet the regulations. Those are things that we're looking at. Those are real things that are happening. Those are things that we've got to focus on. Commissioner Giacomo mentioned Lake Maloya Spillway. Another project, big project that will cost millions of dollars to take care of. Where are we going to find the money? Where are we going to get the help? We need federal help and stuff on that. We need to get our youth involved, keep them involved, and keep them here. We got to come up with programs that would interest them and keep them going. Another thing that's coming up 2 or 3 years down the road is, you know, Raton is one of 2 communities in the state that has a special 1-cent tax on their water. Without that tax, we wouldn't have the water system that we currently have. We have, I feel, one of the best water departments in the state, if not the best. That is something that's going to have to be addressed in the coming years. So those are some of the challenges that we're faced with, and those are some of the things that we need to really focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sagata. Let's start with Ms. Schuster, because this follows nicely on your suggestion that we need to challenge and inspire creativity and resourcefulness in Raton. So I would like to ask all of the candidates, the questioner would like to ask, how have you personally supported new business in Raton, and how do you propose to support and encourage businesses without it being a handout?
Well, that's one of the reasons I've been involved with the community kitchen, because it's providing space and opportunity and technical support, training to people who would want to take their skill in making jam, jelly, salsa, whatever, dog biscuits, and market them to the greater public. Once a situation, or once a product is marketed and created properly, they can market all over the state and even all over the nation. There are people in Taos and Albuquerque who are making millions of dollars. There's the Taos Energy Bar. There's the several salsas that have come out of the community kitchens in Albuquerque, and a jam that's being marketed in Japan. It's doing very well. So that's one project that's one of the reasons that I jumped on board on that project. And even if I'm not a commissioner, I will continue to work with that project.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. Mr. Giacomo?
Well, personally, I have not been involved as far as supporting any new business in Raton. I've been in talks about possible one new company coming in from Colorado Springs, but it didn't pan out. So,
do you have thoughts then, Mr. Giacomo, on how to support and encourage new businesses and businesses that are existing here in Raton that would not be just handing them money?
At this point, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Mr. Draper?
Well, I have a lot of ideas, and I you know, expressed myself over the years, and I've ran for different positions as commissioners and as municipality judge, so I want to do things right. I don't want to break the laws, and I don't want to make a scam to make a quick dollar. Honesty is the best policy, and the more we do honest things, that's how we are going to develop. I believe if we look at things right, we can get this thing turned around. And I truly, I feel very discouraged. I mean, I'm so desperate. I want to go in that TV show, the Shark Tank. Go see those guys, you know. So there's a guy. They're doing it. They're millionaires. So there's an answer to all this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Mr. Cruz.
I think we need competition in Raton. We only have one grocery store. We have one store. We need to get other people here to have competition. Even local people get a grant and start a competition here. But it's like a little game here. It's my store or no store, okay? And we should at least have 2 or 3 different kinds of stores here.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And all the way down the table to Mr. Sagada.
Thank you. Personally supporting new businesses in Raton, well, I've had a few pizzas and hamburgers, so that helps. But to encourage them, I would just like to maybe show them the successes that we've had. And one of those being with DOS taking off now. I don't think people realize how important this is going to be coming to Raton. And I encourage you to come to the meeting tomorrow to see the presentation. But that's how we can encourage them, is by showing the successes, and then also by telling them that we're willing to work with you in the ways that we are limited to work with you, and try to help you any way we can in those avenues. So.
Thank you, Mr. Sagada. Okay, again, you are listening on 93.9 FM Enchanted Air Radio to the Raton City Commission Candidate Forum. It is sponsored by the Raton chapter of the Professional Businesswomen, which is a state chapter to support women in business and to encourage women and young people in business. We are here at the Schuler Theater in downtown Raton, New Mexico, and it looks like we have another question. So if any of you out there in our audience have a question, please raise your hand. But I have 2 more questions, and we're getting close to time, so we'll take these, and as you're thinking about your closing statements, I have a question for Mr. Cruz. Actually, this may be a repeat, but we'll ask you to state what the duties of a Raton City Commissioner are with respect. Oh, this is a repeat. Sorry, guys. This was indeed printed out before, and Mr. Cruz, you answered the question. Thank you. I do have one last question for Mr. Draper and Mr. Cruz. And let's start with Mr. Cruz. What have you done to prepare for the job of City Commissioner aside from campaigning?
Since I've been here, I have attended every meeting they have had, and I listened to what's going on with the city. Like I said, I want to get involved with this city, and I want to help the city. Thank
you, Mr. Cruz. And Mr. Draper?
Well, in the last 10 years, I've fought any kind of corruption. I walked the streets to, get the people that weren't doing the right thing out of office. I've been to Santa Fe, even rented an office down there. I've met with many people in Santa Fe. I'm not afraid to stand up to dishonest things that go on, and I've had people get very upset with me, even threaten me. But that don't stop me from doing the right things. So I prepared myself to try to stand and listen to people and be of honesty. So I've had a lot of challenges in the last 10 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. We are here at the Raton downtown Schuler Theater, a historic treasure here in our town in northeastern New Mexico. Our audience tonight, we thank you for being here, as well as our listeners on 93.9 FM Enchanted Air Radio. I'd like to take a moment and have us all thank our City Commission candidates for their time here, and also just for getting out there and running. If you, those candidates who have not had the seat before, and to those seated commissioners who have served and are serving our town, thank you so much. And elections will be next Tuesday, and once again, for City Commissioner in District 2, Mr. Donald Lee Giacomo on the ballot is running unopposed. For District 4 City Commissioner, James Kennett Cruz and Lindy A. Schuster are your choices. And in District 5, your choices are James Neal Sagata Jr. and write-in candidate Stephen J. Draper. So we'll go ahead at this time and take our, as we have no further questions from the audience, we will go ahead and take your closing statements, and we'll give you 3 minutes for your closing statement. We will be going in the opposite order of our opening statements. So that means Mr. Cruz will be first, then we will hear from Mr. Giacomo, then Mr. Draper, then Ms. Schuster, and then Mr. Sagata.
Okay, well, we're going to be voting on March the 1st, and I need everybody's vote. Everybody's vote counts. They say it doesn't, but it does. And I would appreciate you to vote for me. I don't think what they're trying to say is District 1, District 2, District 3. I think in any district you could vote for anybody you want, because I was supposed to be in District 2, but I ended up in District 4. So this vote for me. My name's James Kenneth Cruz on the ballot, but I run Kenny Cruz. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Giacomo.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate, although I'm running unopposed, I still appreciate you to get out there and mark my name. That way I show your appreciation that maybe I stick around another 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Mr. Draper.
Well, I'd like to thank you for all coming out and listening in on the radio. Everybody, I need your support to get elected, and I'm a write-in candidate. My name's Steve Draper, and I appreciate your time. And if I am elected, I'll do my best to do a good job and develop Raton. I have a lot of vision for Raton. I've been here since 1977. I worked for a lot of the companies around here and traveled a lot. Been out in California, been all over New Mexico, worked for the mines. So I think I got a lot of knowledge, expertise. You have to have an education like a doctor to overhaul Caterpillar transmissions and build engines. And I've had a lot of pressure through the years, and I've balance some good maintenance budgets, so I think I can bring a lot to the table for Raton to turn this thing around. We got some people that want to do the right things, so I appreciate you all coming out. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Draper. Ms. Schuster, your closing statement.
I want to first thank PBW for their hard work. I know this is a lot of hard work to put together, and we really do appreciate it. And thank you, Christina. You've been a great moderator. And also thank you to KRTN for carrying this. I just want to say, you know, we work hard for you, and there's been some statements about misuse of funds, but I want to remind the listeners that this year, for the first time in several years, the City of Raton was awarded a clean audit, meaning that the auditors came in, investigated all the books and all the dealings that we do financially, and things were found to be in perfect order. So we actually should be applauding Michael Ann, who's sitting right there, and thank her very much for her hard work, and for Mr. Berry. If you choose to select my name on the ballot, I will continue to work hard for you. I believe in Raton. I believe we have a lot to give to the world. I believe that we are a good place to live and we can be better.
Thank you, Ms. Schuster. And our final concluding statement is Mr. Sagata.
Thank you. I'd also like to echo the thanks to PPW for putting this on and KRTN for broadcasting, and for all of you for attending this. We really appreciate you being here. In closing, I would just like to say that, you know, I've been involved in this for 5 years now, and have I made the right decisions every time? Absolutely not. I've made mistakes. We all have. But have I learned from those mistakes? I believe so. And I believe right now we have a commission in place that is ready to do what's right for Raton. You know, it's been stated several times up here that Raton is a place where we can come and enjoy, and that we have enjoyed. I think all of us up here love Raton. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't. I want to personally thank everyone up here for putting their hats in. It takes a big step there, and I just ask that you all come and vote on March 1st. Vote for the candidate that you think is going to do the job for you and represent you with the best ability that they can. And I just ask for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st, District 5, and I thank you again for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates. And this does conclude our Raton Professional Businesswomen Candidate Forum, and we'd like to have a round of applause for our candidates. I'd like to also thank KRTN Radio 93.9 FM and 1490 on the AM dial, and also Marty Mayfield Photography. Marty is in the audience videotaping this, and no doubt will be posting the candidate forum in its entirety to the KRTN YouTube page. And so thank you, KRTN, and also thank you to the Raton PBW for taking this on. Election day, a few quick reminders. Election day is next Tuesday, March the 1st. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the two precincts here in Raton will be the Parish Hall and the Raton Convention Center. If you are unsure where to vote, you can contact City Hall for information. Voters can also vote early at City Hall until 5 p.m. this Friday, February the 26th. And if you wish to vote absentee, you need to contact City Hall for an application. The last day to mail those absentee ballots is also Friday, February 26th. Thank you again to all of our listeners out there and in here. Thank you, and please remember to vote.